Pepo laini unanivuta kwa urafiki, maua yametawanya harufu tamu, kila mto una ndoto yake ya mji. Amani moyoni inaita, nyota za usiku zimenitazama, kumbukumbu za zamani zazingirwa, utulivu wa dunia asubuhi huleta. Na mwezi unaangaza njia.
Hello, everyone, and a very good evening to you all. Nancy, please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, we can, Vicky.
Okay, great. So thank you to all of you for joining us this evening. We know that teachers are currently on holiday, most likely, but you have chosen to join us this evening and to be with us as we discuss this very important matter around teacher wellness. So we are happy to have all of you joining us this evening once again. So just a quick introduction. My name is Victoria Mwema, and I am part of a bigger team called IMSINGI, and IMSINGI is an initiative of Strathmore University, and I will very quickly just show you our website so that you can be able to access our resources after this webinar. So IMSING is a program of Strathmore University that has work that supports schools, and our work around supporting schools involves a life skills pillar that supports life skills, a teacher enhancement pillar that supports teacher capacity building. Then we have a psychosocial support pillar, which we sometimes refer to as guidance and counseling pillar, which supports mental health and psychosocial support in schools, which is the pillar that is hosting this webinar this evening. Then we also have a parental engagement pillar that supports work around engaging parents and empowering parents. And then finally, we have the subject content pillar that supports work around academic content, so to improve learners' academic abilities. So I will share with you, I'll show you where you can find us. I don't know if you're able to see my screen. Just a second. And if I'm not able to do that, then towards the end, we will share with you our IMSINGI work so that you can see the courses that are running. You can see, you can be able to access our resources as well as be able to interact with the resources that we already have. So the teacher enhancement pillar has courses that are running for teachers. The subject content has challenges for learners, academic related challenge or rather activities. And then the life skills pillar has work around life skills. And the parental engagement pillar has podcasts for parents that you can share with the parents that you work with. And then the psychosocial support pillar has a lot of content, short videos, worksheets, small flip books that you can actually read around mental health and psychosocial support of learners. So this evening, I am not alone. I am joined by Nancy, who I work very closely with in the psychosocial support pillar. So I'll invite Nancy to just say hi. And then perhaps, Nancy, towards the end, as you close, you can show them the IMSINGI website, because for some reason, I'm not able to get it up right now. So karibu.
Okay, thank you, Vicky. Good evening, everybody. Once again, thank you. My name is Nancy Njuro, and I work at Infinity with kids closely. And it's such an amazing thing to see you make this webinar. It just shows the passion you have. And we are set to have a good time. So, Claire, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. Nancy and myself, we will be present on chat. So if you have any questions as the webinar continues, please put them on the chat. And even as you do that, please remember to introduce yourself, tell us your name, the county you're joining from, the school that you teach in, if you're comfortable telling us about the school, and then tell us just one expectation that you have for the webinar this evening. In this session around teacher wellness, this is not the first session that we are holding. In April, we had a full day workshop in which we discussed teacher mental health, and then we talked about how we can engage parents in our work so that they can help us, or we can work together to support learners. And we were also looking at the angle of teachers being parents and being parts and members of families. So in that sense, we know that teachers, besides being a teacher showing up in school, you are also a part of a family. Maybe you are a mom or a dad, or a sister or a brother. You are a member of a family. So in that sense, we talked about how to work closely with parents, but also with respect to the fact that teachers are also parents. Then we closed off with sharing the resources that we have that you can use to enrich your guidance and counseling departments, as well as your mental health and psychosocial support in your schools. We've also held other sessions around learning disabilities, around teacher mental health, wellness in tough times, and also with respect to whatever is happening in the country. At the time when we were having a lot of floods, we know quite a number of schools were affected, so we had a workshop around that, so just exploring how we can support learners. Initially in our work, we were hoping to explore ways to support the mental well-being of learners, but we very quickly realized that we have to work closely with teachers, address the mental well-being and the mental health concerns that teachers are having, so that you can be in a better place to support learners. As we begin, I just want to reiterate that I have a deep respect for teachers and the work that you do. And for that reason, we are trying to explore ways in which we can support your own well-being so that you can be in a better position to also identify and support learners in the classroom. So without going deep into these issues, today we have a specialist with us on call. Her name is Victoria Kedemi, and Victoria is a marriage and family therapist. But besides being a marriage and family therapist, she has also been a teacher for a long time, and she will tell us a lot more about that. And Victoria will be telling us about when teaching hurts and how to practice, or strategies of practicing teacher wellness in tough times. So without much ado, I'm going to invite Victoria. Victoria, karibu sana. You can introduce yourself, tell us a bit more about yourself, and then once you're ready, take it home. So karibu sana, Victoria.
Asante sana, Victoria. I've logged in with two gadgets. Is the other one bringing echo back there?
Yes, there is some echo.
Okay, so let me leave.
All right, no problem.
Pray in one, even as we pray that the Wi-Fi will hold. Happy to be here, teachers. I'm feeling at home. And I'm just wishing Victoria and Nancy, you were there when we were teaching. Life wasn't that easy. And so teachers, I understand what it is that you're going through. I have taught for the last 29 years. I resigned last year because then I wanted to now get into this space of marriage and family therapy. I am a mother of two Gen Z, 26 and 23. I am also a practicing Christian, and I never wanted to be a teacher. My dad is a retired headmaster, so no matter how much I fought it, somehow I found myself teaching. and then realized that I actually really loved it along the way, as much as I didn't want it. I realized that I loved it, I enjoyed it. And by the sentiments that were when I was leaving, I think I was a good teacher. I think I continue to be a good teacher. And so teaching is such a wonderful career, guys. And I know, and I even said it in front of my boss, I said, nobody can ever pay a teacher what they deserve to be paid. Only God. And only you know, and you and I understand what it is that you do in that class, even those things that nobody sees and nobody even says thank you for. Their children, sometimes you have to feed breakfast and the mother will come and swing her hips and her high heels on you, yet you've been feeding her child and not even have the audacity to be grateful. But you take it in and you tell yourself, what? I have done the best I can for this little one, for this child. And so you're good to go. So we may never really be paid money-wise. We may never really get it as we would wish it to be. However, there's a God in heaven who sees what you're doing, and he pays it in another way. Because you find most teachers never go to hospital. Most teachers have such good health. Most teachers, you find that then God blesses you in ways that only only you understand. And that is a major blessing. And so what informed my decision to get into marriage and family therapy was the problems that came from home and found me in class. And so before I even trained, and I had a bachelor's in education, but then, as the years were going, I was also thinking, what will I do? Because I was seeing my years are also going. What am I going to be doing when I retire? Because when I was doing my bachelor's, I think I was 30 something. And so I was like, hey, these years are really going. What will I be doing with myself when I retire? And so that's when then God brought this, the marriage and family therapy. Why marriage and family therapy? I was already an informal therapist before I even trained, just like you are, because you are always solving children's problems, wherever it is that you are at. And these children idolize you. For some of them, you're the only smile they ever see. And so that's how I ended up in marriage and family therapy. And I'm enjoying the space. It's been 1 year now. Actually, this August, it's 1 year since I got out. And I thank God because I believe I'm making impact out here where I am, because I thought, let me go and get to those parents who are the source of children's problems and hopefully see and hope that the teachers will have an easier time in the school space. I am a member of some what are they called? Associations that help hold us as professionals in that regard. And so, Vicky, if you could move to the next slide that shows the associations. And I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, meaning that the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health is aware that I'm here. And so I wanted us to see this thing that is next to my introduction. A centered well-being person will have these 4 facets, plus many more others, but they'll have their physical well-being intact. They'll have their social well-being. They have a social support. They have a psychological well-being, meaning you're taking care of your mental health. And yes, teachers, take advantage. Milk this iMsingi dry, because this will be such a support for you. It wasn't there when we were teaching. We have had to learn the hard way how to take care of our mental health. And then your spiritual well-being, that you're also taking care of it as well. The financial and all the others are also part of this, but these are the core. Physical, eat well, and we'll be talking about it as we go on. Next slide, please. So when teaching heart, and when I was thinking about when teaching heart, I thought about where this heart in this country is coming from. And I wanted us to look at where it is coming from so that you can be able to see then what is this you're dealing with. We say that we live life forward, but we understand it backwards. And yes, we are living in difficult times. So what is this backward that I want us to go back to? It is our history. So in our country, teachers, we carry layers upon layers of prevalent unspoken trauma. And this trauma comes from the colonial era, the historical trauma. If you think back at the stories your grandparents used to tell you, you know, the traditional homes seemed so peaceful, so nice. Before colonization, there was order, there was, there was order, there was education, informal education. And that life seemed really good compared to what we are having today. Of course, it was primitive, some parts, but now with the modernization, that has also brought other problems. So just go with me, you will understand where we are going with this. So I remember we said we live life forward, but we understand it backward. So during the colonial era, the colonization changed the family dynamics. That order and that peace that was there, where the family unit was taken care of, society was taken care of, there was order, there was leader, there were leaders. Then what colonization did, number one, it changed the family dynamic. When the fathers went to fight for Mau, others were sold into slave trade, others went to do for which wars, then the woman was left in charge. And as the woman was left in charge, there was a lot of betrayal. There was, the children, of course, will not understand that it is colonial times. They'll be like, where is my father? Where is my mother? Who is this stranger who's taking care of me? The neighbors were betraying each other. And the history there is really gory. And I've been pushing my grandparents to tell me some of these things. And some of them, they will not even talk about it. That is how bad it was. But then what that also does, the colonialists introduced the silence of culture, especially to anybody who opposed them. And then the culture of tolerance was diminished, meaning before colonization, people would tolerate whatever, and there would be discipline and ways to get things done in the pre-colonial times that did not take away the dignity of the human being, that also allowed people to talk. However, with colonization, then the culture of silence was introduced, and especially to people who oppose. And at this point, let me ask, 844 was kind of like this, where a child is just there to be seen and not to be heard. And most of us were brought up in these eras. But you see, CBC has changed that. But let me ask, as a teacher, as a CBC teacher now, are you still caught up in the 844 times where you're not allowing your students to talk? Move on, please. Next. So when that was then, when people now could not talk, it was all about being silenced. Then now you start seeing the source of societal hurt. And remember, this hurt is hurting everybody, not just you, the teacher, but you're also part of the society that is getting hurt. Then as we continued along the way, came socio-political injustices, came ethnic political violences. There are places right now people have never healed. And as you do your history and your research in your own areas where you come from, there are areas that people are so wounded, very, very wounded because of what happened to them and the injustices that happened to them. Then we had COVID 5 years back. We are yet reeling from that shock. And you remember, this trauma is just being heaped. Remember, we said our country has just layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of this hurt. Then we have poverty, where we have almost a lot of people in this country just below the poverty line, where affording food, basic needs, is a problem. In some of the answers you had given, most of you are citing that you are in areas where parents have to keep withdrawing their children from school. Others, they're always sent home because of school fees. This is poverty, and poverty is bad. It removes the dignity of a child. There's a school we visited another time, and just here in Nairobi, and these children, it was July, it was so cold like the way it has been right now, and a child has no sweater. A child is just in open sandals. And in that school, they were paying just 600 shillings, but these parents could not afford. And I remember when we were visiting, one of the children had told the teacher, because we had taken some clothes, had told the teacher, please, when they bring a shirt, please just get for me one shirt. And you want to cry. You look at those children and you just want to cry and wonder, now, God, how can we help all these people, all these children, even help them get food? And some of them go to these schools because they are being fed. And then we have transgenerational trauma. This is the verbal, the sexual, the physical abuses that has been happening over the years. And because we were silenced, even in the homes, nobody is talking. You'll find a girl that was abused by the uncle, but because, oh, it will bring shame, oh, we will not talk about it. And then the girl is punished or is told, you don't say anything about it. How will she grow as an adult? And these are the students who are coming to school. We have a lot of unemployment, joblessness, the high taxes that are affecting us all. Then last year we had the Gen Z protesting on the finance bill. Then this year, just last month, but one, we had the demonstrations that we saw. There were the abductions, the extrajudicial killings. There is loss of life through a system that should be protecting its citizens. But instead of us being protected, what are we? We are here in fear, wondering what next? Am I safe? You're going to work wondering, how will you go back home? You know, this is something that we did not know about. So when you heap up all that, next slide, please, Victoria. When you heap that all that, and this is showing up in your class, then you can see now why even teaching is becoming a bit hard, and it is hurting. Yet it was such a joyful job that we have enjoyed through the years. And all those things then, they bring loss of connection. Because if I'm here seeing a policeman and I'm wondering whether I'm safe from that policeman, or he'll just turn out of nowhere and just, kill me, then I can't connect. And so I'm living in fear. And anytime we have loss of connection, then that is the beginning of lack of safety, lack of justice, lack of stability, which we call trauma. Then we have no trust. We have no trust in the government that is leading us. We have no trust in our leaders. We have no trust in whatever is happening in the systems. Then, we are there just oscillating from where are we going and what is happening with us. Then we lose our voice, because now when we talk, we are short. When we talk, then there's this fear. When we talk, I remember somebody was saying, hey, I had something to say, but on second thought, let me not say. I don't want to be abducted. And you see, some of these things we think they are out there, my friends. But let me tell you, I used to think sometimes these things are out there. But right now, I know one of you, or two, or three of you know somebody who has lost their life. You know somebody who knows somebody who has been abducted. And I got a shock when I got a client whose sister had been abducted. And I was like, oh my God. And I got to experience, firsthand experience, what these families go through. It is hurting. It's one thing to sympathize and empathize with them until they land in your space. And then you're like, oh my God, this is really horrible, because it completely destabilizes the family. And then we lose our identity as a country. And apart from losing our voices as a country, even in the workspaces, I'm wondering how many of you in your schools will go and tell the administration, guys, this is what I'm thinking. Instead of doing it this way, let us do this way, without fear of victimization. Because that voice did not get lost now. It got lost many years back. And that is why Gen Z are saying they have had enough. Through the generations, we have kept quiet. We have been pushed around. Money has just been going around and not being used in the right ways in the country. The Gen X kept quiet. The millennials kept quiet. The silent generation was silent because it was silenced. But now see, we have a generation that is saying enough is enough. We will not keep quiet. And that generation is not about to be quietened. And definitely, the Gen Alpha you're teaching in class, they'll be there showing their placards, even in the houses. I'm waiting to hear about how the holidays are going on, because I know they will try to imitate what they saw are going on in the country. But then as we lose identity in our country, in a country as we knew it, because before all this, even though there were all these skirmishes that were going on, somehow there was some semblance of normalcy going on. But now we're at a place where you're like, where is this? And you can see a lot of people have left this country, and you're thinking, I don't want to be this country anymore. So by the time we get to such a place, if I'm losing my identity as a Kenyan, that speaks a lot to me as a person, and it's going to really destabilize me. And that is stress. Then now we introduce dishonor and anarchy and impunity, where anybody can do everything. And guess who are watching? The boys and girls that show up in our class. They are watching. We have parents speaking carelessly and saying whatever it is that they want to say in front of their parents, in front of their children, forgetting that how you're talking about your leader today. Yes, he's whatever it is. He's whatever he is, and he's doing all these bad things, but they are watching. And what you're teaching them is that do not obey authority. Who else is an authority? The parent is. So this child will lose respect for their parent. And the minute this child starts losing respect for the parent, they will also lose respect for the teacher. And so it is a space that, as teachers and as a trusted voice in society, that needs to be handled with a lot of care. I remember last year, during the 2024 demonstrations, I was still working, and my school was just next to Thika Road Superhighway. And so when the runnings with the police and gunshots and you what was happening, there's a day we were in class. Yeah, I can see Gakura saying even what Kasongo name means. Yes, and the children were so after that, children had to go home, and we got home very late. And the next day, of course, the children would not come to school because parents were scared of their safety, and you understand. But I remember now, after that quieted down and we went back to school, so I was asking the children, how are you doing? What do you know? What is happening? Because I want to hear what they have to say. Hey, teacher, that Ruto. And I said, excuse me, that is your president you're talking to about like that. And we cannot afford to address the president in such a careless manner. And so I explained to them, I said, it's like you calling me, you Vicky. I mean, that is such a disrespectful thing to do, and it would be very hard. And so I said, sometimes, even if the president is doing whatever he's doing and we are not happy with it, we will not remove the respect that he should be given. So I said, so long as you're addressing the president, you use the right way to do it. And we tried. And along the way, we got it right. And so those are the things we are saying, that yes, out there it's crazy, but we still have to maintain order in the spaces that we are in, so that then we don't lose control. And remember, control was taken in 2006 when they said no corporal punishment, again, with a good reason, because some teachers were really doing it the wrong way. However, then now that is not there. Then what do we do? That was not brought. So it's up to you to come up with your own clever ways of maintaining discipline. Not that I support so much the kind of caning that was happening. It was not good, but there should have been a system, even if it is the NYS, something. They should have brought in something to counter, so that the authority keeps being respected. Then we have the introduction to a generation that is being brought up by social media. And with social media, it is the one that is speaking. Parents have lost their voice. So sometimes teachers, the only voice these children have is your voice. Because at home, we'll also be seeing it shortly that the parents are not doing their parental duties well. Some of them, a lot is changing as we are going on. And so what we are saying is that as a people, we have come to a place we have loss of safety, we have no justice, we don't have stability, and we lose that connection, because I'm not very sure whether I can trust that person. I'm not very sure whether I am safe. I am walking around in anxiety, wondering, where am I going to be next? I felt so sad one time after just immediately after the protests in June. I think it was beginning of July. And there was a tire burst where we were. There was a meeting somewhere, there was a tire burst. And let me tell you, that tire burst and everybody ducked. This is something, and I sat there and I was like, we were not like this. Before you would hear a tire burst and be like, that's a tire burst, or that's at some and you're not there fearing. However, now, when bullets are finding people in their homes and killing them, then there's a lot of loss of safety. And so it's now anchoring ourselves and finding safety in the one that who doesn't move. And we say that when there are all these moving parts around us, you anchor yourself on the immovable. And like I said, I'm a practicing Christian. So that is where I will go and anchor myself, because I know him, he will not move. The others, they'll keep moving. Where there's loss of justice, where as a person, I feel that was injustice. And as Victoria, I may not have the power to go and, fight and talk about it. But one of the things that I want to tell you, teacher, let me tell you, you hold a lot of influence in your hands. And one of the things that I had come to also to accept as a teacher is that I may not be able to change the whole of Kenya, but I can change one child. I can change the 35 that are in my class. And in changing them, then I change their families. You know, the ripple effect, like a small drop, but it goes moving. And that really helped me. It helped me not to feel hopeless and helpless. So even when that injustice is going on, I'll call it out. However, I realize that I still have young minds here that need a voice of reason that is trustworthy. And of course, then we lose stability and we lose connection. And in short, that is what we call trauma. So if you look back, what I've told you, you can see now the layers that are just accumulating. So we are saying that we need national healing. Next slide, please. We need national healing. Oh, there was still more. Yes. Social media has too much information, and emotions just hog information. And emotions don't never know this is real and this is not real. That is where, for example, if you're watching a movie and in the movie it's sad and people are crying, you might end up crying, and they were just acting, because our brains never know which one is real and which one is not real. Then other sources of societal hurt. To add on to the layers that I was talking about, we have family dysfunctionality. The family I was telling you about pre-colonial times and the family we have today, you cannot even compare. Then there was order before colonialism. There was order of what the family unit meant. Now we have dysfunctional completely. The family unit has completely changed. It is something that you cannot even look at and recognize sometimes. You find that the nuclear families are becoming less and less. The father, mother, children are becoming less and are being replaced by, we are going to be talking about them here shortly. Then we have a lot of gender-based violence because of the layers and layers of trauma. People are angry. And remember, people are not going for therapy. People stigmatize therapy. They say therapy ni ya wenda wazimu. Mimi si mwenda wazimu. I am not going for therapy. Yet, we all need therapy. Because as our shushus passed, our grandparents passed on what they faced during Mau Mau War, they passed it to their children. Some of them never talked. Some of them were very angry. They would just lash out on their children. Their children took that in, passed it to the next generation. That is what we are calling transgenerational trauma. And so you find that people are very angry, and because they are not processing their anger, when anger is not processed, we say it implodes. It stays inside and explodes on the inside through a disease or through aggression or through domestic violence. Or again, it will explode on the outside and cause harm to the other people that are nearby there. And so at the root of all abusers, because gender-based violence is all about abuse, you will find that there's trauma. Something happened there. That is what they saw their father and mother doing. And so they are doing it to other people because, again, it wasn't processed, because therapy is not for us. It's for those people who are not okay in their head, not knowing that these are some of the things that are now causing a lot of pain right now. And then to quieten the noises in their heads, people will take drugs and substance abuse to try and calm themselves down and to stop feeling these things and hearing the noises in their heads. Then the cycle continues. Others are running off into LGBTQIA+, again, to look for acceptance, to look for people that can embrace them. Human beings are very relational. And all these problems we are talking about are relational problems. They are caused at the point of relating. And so we are saying that, again, it is a relationship that might heal some of these hurts. Unfortunately, now, when some people go into like the LGBTQIA+, then that choice of coping that they chose then brings them more shame. And then again, the spiral just continues on and on, and it becomes like a cyclic thing. Yeah. Talking of the breaking of the family unit, we were talking about Today, very many families are divorcing. There are a lot of separations. Guess most of the children are coming from? This is what they are saying. We have a lot of single fathers and single mothers. I was just doing my own informal research, and now, so long as even a man at 27, a man at 27 has a child. You see, like before, when it's girls would have children and were single moms. Now we also have single dads, to a point that somebody has to ask, hey, do you have a child? Do you have children? Then this is the era of baby daddies and baby mamas and blended families. Victoria comes with her children, and then Nyaga comes with his children. We blend them. In the periphery, we have baby mama huku and baby daddy huku. Then they get other partners and becomes a web of a lot of pain. Because the children are the center of all this. Sometimes nobody talks to them. When a divorce happens, one client told me it's like burying somebody who is alive. You're mourning somebody who's walking around. They're alive, but you're mourning them because a divorce has happened. Another one told me it's like having a double amputation, where you cut down your legs and you have to learn to walk all over again. These things hurt, and these things are happening to the families of the children that you are teaching. Is it a wonder a parent will come and just lash out on you? And you're wondering, now what have I done? Now why are you making for me all that noise? What did I do? This is somebody who is in pain. Sometimes we don't know the history. And so when you look at all that and see the child that is coming to you, most of the times you will empathize because they are carrying a lot and they have nobody to tell. There's nobody to talk to. Not many schools have guidance and counseling teachers, and some of the schools, what they've done, you find Victoria, who is a maths teacher, they normally take CRE teacher. Victoria, who is a CRE teacher, is also the guidance and counseling teacher. The children will not open up. Some of them will not open up because they are wondering, you Victoria teacher, you have just been quarreling me about the CRE homework I didn't do. Now we're in the therapy space. Now I've come to see you have problems, and then now you're all nice. How do I tell you my problems? The children may not be able to open up. Something that also needs to change and to be changed so that the guidance and counseling person who is in that school is just that. If they are teaching maybe life skills, but not, examinable subjects where they have to go and interact with the student very differently, then all that brought change in the parenting styles. And you find that most parents are very permissive, or they are very uninvolved in the parenting of their children. The permissive parent is very nurturing and very warm, but has no boundaries. Anything you want, take. You want to watch TV the whole day, hour. You want my phone here. The teacher said that homework, don't do. There is no control. That child is basically raising themselves, and the others are not involved. The children are left with the nannies, and then social media rears them. That we are also hearing and seeing the repercussions are of the same. And remember, all these children teachers, they are coming to your class. Next slide, please. And so,
as
yes,
we go to the next slide, there is a question. So Nyongesa is asking, does therapy really work? I have visited many therapists, but no change from my end.
Nyongesa, I'm sorry that you went out of your way to, have somebody help you figure out what was going on, but it did not work because therapy works. I know that because in my class, when I was doing the marriage and family therapy, I had to do 25 sessions, a must, before I could even start my practicum. And at first I was like, I'm fine. Those Kenyan things, me, I'm okay, whatever. And I really argued with the lecturer who was saying that we go and have our own therapy. But I came to realize I had issues in my own life that needed addressing. And so, yes, and I've also seen it in the people I've worked with. I can see the change. But you also, you have to be willing to do your work. Your work meaning, like now when I'm told to go and ask my mom about my history, about her history, and what was going on in her life when she got me. My mom got me when she was in Form 4. Actually, she was doing her Form 4 exams when she had just given birth to me. So that comes with shame. You know, the shame of being a young school girl. You're doing exams with a baby that you're breastfeeding. And so there was nothing much spoken there, but how I was showing up in life, even, and I was doing this when I was 40, I'd say 43, 44. That is when I was doing my own therapy. What I came to realize is that I showed up in life like I didn't belong. It's like I was showing up in life like I was a victim. So I'm here, I'm expecting my boss to see what a great teacher I am and promote me. It's hard to see me, not me to show up and say, you know what, I have been lower primary head for such a long time now. I want to move up. I wasn't that kind. I was like, she's seen me. Now I've been promoted. So I sit there and wait for her to see me again so that she can do something else. I don't know whether you're getting what I'm saying. But now after I saw how I was showing up in life, and this came from my therapy session. I talked to my mom, and my mom assured me, we wanted you. I was really shocked I was pregnant, but we really wanted you. We were happy to have you. And that shifted something in my heart, in my spirit. That shifted something, and I realized, this is how I've been living life. I want to be a little bit more aggressive in my life. I want to show up more and occupy the space that I am supposed to occupy in this planet. And so, yes, therapy works. However, be careful of quacks. Kenya is a country where anybody can be anything. We have seen people buying degrees. We have seen people buying their way out of everything. So when you're going to therapy, it's okay to ask for somebody's credentials. Because if somebody comes and tells you they are marriage and family therapist and they tell you they did it for 6 months, honestly, hakuna kitu kama hiyo. I was in school for 4 years. Yeah. So be careful of quacks. There's a high possibility that my friend, you went to people who didn't know what they are doing. And I'm sorry for that, because these ones are spoiling the name of the good ones that are actually doing such good work. But yes, therapy works. May I continue now, Victoria?
Yes, please.
Okay. There was a comment there from Gakoria as a nimesonga.
Maybe let me see if I can help.
Yeah, please.
So Gakuria says, as a therapist, I also went for therapy. It helped me deal with issues more calmly and be strong through the situation I was encountering. I couldn't change things, but I got through.
Yes. So therapy works, guys. Therapy works. So the impact of all those things I've told you is what we call collective stress. So yes, I am here in class with Victoria is a teacher. I'm here with student Mary. But Mary is carrying some of all the things that I've told you. So even as this child is here, and I'm trying to teach her maths and English and these other learning areas, believe you me, 3/4 of the time, her mind is going to be wherever she had faced before she came to school and the things that are going on through her. So number one, growing up, emotions and voice were silenced so that those in the authority can rule. So because of collective stress and that societal hurt, the voices were silenced. And this is what Gen Z is fighting. And this is what Gen Alpha will also fight, because their brothers and sisters have shown them that, you know what, we cannot be silent anymore. And if you want to win in your class, allow the learners to speak. Just guide their conversations. Say, like for me, I would say respect and tone words. So long as you're using the right words, you're using your tone is manageable. You're not there yelling at me, and you are respectful. We will listen to what you have to say and we will hear. So like when you go to class, Before you do that algebra and X, U, and okay, I wasn't a very good math student, and those are the things that you do in math. Take a few minutes and just ask the students how they are. Give them a paper. Tell them, write for me how you're feeling today. What are you feeling? Just to get something out of what we want. And what therapy does is that it gets what is inside out, because that's what we want to do. Because when it stays inside, remember we said, when the anger stays inside, it implodes. It will come out as a disease, or it will explode and show up like reacting. A child was walking and just tagged by another one, and woo, you don't want to imagine the words. Even for you as a teacher, we just want that out. And that is what society is asking for today. Please hear me. This is what is killing relationships, because people are not being valued. People are not being heard. So people were silenced so that those in authority can rule. The guns and dogs that were used to silence are gone physically. However, now the silencing came to the homes, it came to the schools, it came to the country, so that it is, shh, I'm the one in power here. I'm the one who's going to say. Family systems are affected, and the heart turned into transgenerational trauma. Families upon families are hurting. Things were done in the families that are really hurting, and people could not talk. Now people are finding their voice. You go to TikTok, people are there pouring their hearts. In the same TikTok, quite a number are depressed because of that silence and suppressing emotions, because you're not allowed to express yourself. So the family demographic changed, and it continues to change. Beware and be ready for these changes, so that one day you're there. I got a shock one time. This parent came. I knew him. He had brought another child that had taught, and so he brings another one, and I'm like, I didn't know you had. I thought that one was your last born. And then he's like, even this one is mine. Then I was like, this story here is not adding up, only to realize that this was now his side chick's child that he was bringing to the same school that his other children were in. So we have to change with the times as they are changing, including even our own biases. Our own biases means, this side chick business, now what is this? Or a man who has been kept by an older woman. We have some biases, maybe, for example, that one. And so when this man comes to pick the children, you're like, sasa mbaba, mwanaume mzima na vile mwanaume anakaa kwa nguvu, anafanya nini amekwa na mwanamke. Those are biases you have to work out of your system, so that when this man comes, you're able to deal with him without that kinyongo, or that, you're looking at him and you're thinking, he comes and you're dealing with him as he comes. And he will come with hot air, because he's already judging himself. And for the boy children, let me say this. The masculinity world is right now is very, I don't want to say confusing, but right now, you see, the girl was empowered. There were all these bodies fighting for the girl, but who was fighting for the boy child? And the boy child was forgotten. And so right now, men are really working to try and find each other and find themselves and find safe spaces where they can thrive and help bring up the boy. So those who are in boys' schools, and of course you teach, or if you're teaching boys somewhere, help find safe spaces for them where they can talk. They're also learning how to talk. I remember a client who was telling me, for so many years, I have been told not to talk about my problems at your new mama. Now I am being told to talk. I don't even know where to start. How do I start saying what I'm going through? And it's now changing that narrative. These things of boys don't cry. Remember, these are people who have feelings. How are they supposed to process what they are going through? One time I was in a burial, and my mother-in-law had just passed on, and we were burying her. And I was here holding my son on one end, and my daughter on the other hand. And somebody came and told me, tell them to stop crying like that. That crying is going to make my spirit do what? Ooh, where? I even forgot I was crying. I was like, leave my children alone. What do you want them to do? Their grandmother has just died. How are they not supposed to cry? Tufanye nini? You know. So some of those myths and narratives of old also are changing. And so as teachers, remember, you're the trusted voice in the society. We are changing with them. So meaning, use Msingi's things that they've put out there matters mental health, so that you can be able even to help the boys in class. And unfortunately, in our society, we silence the victim and we do not hold the abuser accountable. I know you know stories upon stories of people who are abusing, and especially children, and nothing is being done. Or they're in jail one day and tomorrow they're out, you know. And then the victim is there wondering, where is my justice? Who is going to cry for me? You know. And so our struggles as a society, we struggle with accountability and taking responsibility. And these are some of the things this country needs to heal them, so that we can be able to move forward as a healed nation. We may not necessarily heal the billions of us, but remember the ripple effect. One child at a time, one family at a time, and we are good to go. Next slide, please. There's a lot of anger in the schools now. Now let's talk about you and the students. There's a lot of anger. Anger is a secondary emotion, because when I feel ashamed, it will show up as anger. When I feel guilty, shows up as anger. When I feel fear, it will show up as anger. When I'm anxious, it will show up as anger. When I'm uncertain, anger. How is my family at home? I'm in boarding school here. There are all these things happening. How is my family? Are they okay? It will show up as anger. So beneath that anger, there is always something else going on. So when this child comes to you angry in class, want to find out what is happening, what is underlying. So debrief with them first. A lot of children are showing a lot of aggression. I've had quite a number of students coming because of bullying in the schools, primary school, high school, a lot of bullying, a lot of aggression. Sometimes if you're on the road, you'll just see people wanaingiana tu vile mtu anataka. Mtu anadrive gari barabara ni kama ni yake, you know? It's like, it's just me, I'm the only car on this road, I will drive the way I want. Do the people, they also just drive those bikes the way they want. Then they don't care. Pedestrians, they walk however way. You organize yourself, you and your four-wheel things. As for me, this is the road I will walk on. All this, remember the collective stress? Now, these are the results of all that. Of course, in class, you'll experience behavioral problems. And let me say that teachers, you see that child, that one who behaves until you want to pull out your hair. That one you look at and you're thinking, oh my God, can't you be absent even for one day? I'm just talking that, I'm remembering somebody. That one who's never absent. That child needs you so much. He needs you so much. These children, people who need a lot of love, have the craziest way of showing it. Because all they know is nobody likes me anyway. So let me just act as I know. Nobody likes me. And even when you try to like them, they'll push you away because they are not sure whether you will stay. But I know, like I told you, I'm a practicing Christian, and God was never far from my class. He was always with me in class, because sometimes I'd be like, oh God, help me. Hold my mouth. And I had made a covenant with my mouth. There are words I would never use to a student. There are things I would never say concerning a children. There are times I would be like, so just step out. 2 minutes, kanyaga pale. Just step out. Give me time to organize my thoughts, you know. But then you see, I also had to take care of myself. So these children who have behavioral problems, that's their way of saying, help me, I need help. But you see, normally what to do is that they rub us the wrong way, and you're like, this child, stay there. But they really need you. The absenteeism, yes, it's going to be there because of many reasons. And I would say, do your best. Make your class very lively. Make your class so nice that somebody will want to come. Make it so enjoyable. And with CBC, at least there's variety of things that you can do. There's dancing, start your day, even if it's maths, dance at something, you know, just put music and tell them to teach you the latest dancing style. And you see, as they are moving, because all trauma needs sometimes is just you to move. As they are dancing and they are there laughing and laughing at you because you're not able to dance, guess what? Some of the stress has been shaken out. And now they are ready. They are ready for your class. They are ready now to hear what happened. Always ask, how are you doing? Even if they are 100, ask them. Tell them to write. Because if they say one by one, the lesson will end before you finish them giving you a report. Or ask them in groups. This group today, as you're going, they are telling you. Give them papers to write. And they don't even have to write their name. Because what you want is to get it out. That is what we call journaling. Let them tell you. Play games. Math doesn't have to be so serious. CBC cannot be a serious and boring teacher. Yes, you want to teach that math, but you know what? If you're teaching me math and yesterday we slept on the roof, and I'm wondering today, where are we going home? Am I going to sleep on the roof, or we'll sleep? I don't know where we have no place to go and sleep. There's nothing I'm going to be listening to. I'll be there wondering with all these problems. Connect with your students. Connect with them in such a way that, yes, you may not be able to solve all their problems, but connect so that they have that responsible adult they can go and talk to. The bullying thing, please take care of the students. Normally, children who bully are normally bullied, and mostly by their parents. So get this child, talk to them. Yes, they bully everybody, but that's their way of just surviving. Before they are bullied, let them bully somebody. Or they're in so much pain, they want to bully somebody else. Last year I had a child who would self-harm. He would remove the sharpener, remove that blade, and he would cut himself on his fingers. When he was not doing that, he was poking himself with he would sharpen the pencil, it's so sharp, and then he just pokes himself. When he wasn't doing that, he tried to poke other children, and I had to step in and say, no. But of course, I will call the parents and want to know what it is that is happening. This is a child who is in pain. Others get into depression, and depression is because of suppression. They are not able to talk. They are not able to say, I am unhappy, because we have taught our children not to show anger. And when the child is angry, like I said, there are many other underlying factors. But sometimes child is just angry or frustrated because I feel like something in school happened and it wasn't fair. I am angry. But when I come home and I'm angry and I'm there talking and doing all these actions, I'm told, hey, what are those you're doing? So now I'm forced to be calm so that I can fit into the family. Because when I show I'm angry, then there's a disconnection. So I keep those feelings to myself. They explode, or I get sick, or depression happens. So depression is because of suppression. Then the sadness, the hopelessness, the helplessness, the powerlessness, and yet we have power. We are alive. There's something we can do, even if it's a prayer, we can do that. Then there's a lot of deep hurt and sadness because of what is going on. We don't exist in a vacuum. Our kids are seeing, our students are seeing what is going on. And yes, it affects them. But I'll be telling you shortly how you can help them. And then academically, some of them will not be very productive because of some of the things that are going on. But let me tell you, teachers, you are powerful. So long as you connect with that child and you connect with them and they know that you are not like those other adults. You're not perfect. No, you're not perfect. Of course, you'll make your mistakes. And be ready to say sorry when you make your mistakes. But when this student knows that I can count on Teacher Vicky to stand with me, I'm telling you that alone will keep them going, even when things are thick for them. A lot of them have a lot of suicidal ideations and attempts against social media. And some of it is in the news. Some of it is all over. It is on TikTok. And these children are on TikTok. And they see, oh, I'm so depressed. I feel like I want to, unalive myself. Some of the cartoons and the programs they are watching, that is what is being discussed. Some have gone to an extent of even telling them how to unalive themselves. So it's ensuring that the children and the students in your classes want to live and finding out why is it that you don't want to live? How about, what is that one thing that can make you want to live? And then adjust, then working on it and helping them, be able to want to, I'm sorry, people are just passing here. My thought went. My thought went. But what I was saying was they will attempt because of what is going on. Even in the country, homicides, femicides on social media. However, you can change their mind. And all these things we have talked about where the child is feeling, where they have, there's emotional imbalance that is called emotional dysregulation, but you can help them regulate. And you are the one to help them regulate. Imagine this child comes to my class and then they do this thing. Remember that child? That child we were talking about, the one who asks for love in the worst way ever, by rubbing you the worst way. So that day they've come and, hey, they have found me calm. Yesterday they came and I was just feeling like, ooh, my hairs are standing. So yesterday I was like, Peter, please stand by the door. Today you'll do your class while you're there because you're really tempting my hands and my hands do not want to do those things. So stand by the door. So Peter stands by the door. The lesson is over. We finish. By the time he goes home, I'm like, hey, today you didn't do this very well. I hope tomorrow will be a better day. So tomorrow he comes and he does the same thing as he does usually, to just rub me the wrong way. But he finds a mwalimu who is calm. And I'm like, Peter, today, we are going to do this work and I'm going to really try and, calm myself so that, because I really want to help you. So you'll find, because Peter found a calm mwalimu, then you regulate him. He stops. Dysregulation means he has no control. Remember, he has all these things going on in his head and in his heart and in his soul and everywhere. So he doesn't even know how to control. Remember, he's still a child. But when he finds you calm, then you calm him. And you will not go home wondering, why did I become a teacher? But you'll go home thinking, wow, today was such a win, meaning that you also have to be regulated as well, be able to control your emotions. And yes, there are those days, of course, there are those days where somebody is better off standing at the back of the class than here near me and they're doing these things. We can also agree to that as well. Next slide, please.
Vicky, as we move to the next slide, would you like me to read for you the reflections on chat and the question, or do you want to take this at the end?
We can do it now that it's still fresh.
Okay, great. So there's a question that came in. There's a little debate on chat. Is it true that a daughter is likely to get expectant at the age at which their mother got their firstborn? That's a question from someone by the name of Yuga. Participants, please rename your account so that you can be able to tell who is asking the question. And Nell reacts to this and says she does not believe in it, but maybe you can help us out with that one.
Believe in it what? That what?
Is it true that a daughter is likely to get expectant at the same age at which their mother got their firstborn?
Oh, well, with what I've seen, let me just say that patterns repeat themselves. And patterns do not lie. Yeah? They may not get pregnant at the same age, but let me tell you, what I've seen practically is that patterns repeat themselves, especially where there is no process. My mother got me when she was in, I told you, in Form 4. I got my first child when I had already finished school. I was working. But for me, what happened is that there was an intervention of church. Church intervened. Otherwise, age-wise, I got pregnant at 20, but I was married then at 24? She got pregnant at 20, Madani. I can't remember, but she was in Form 4, so that's about Form 4, 18. Yeah. So for it may not happen the same age. However, patterns repeat themselves. What am I saying? A family that their father beat the mother, there's a very high chance that the daughters in that home will marry people who will beat them, because patterns repeat themselves. So it may not be the same age, but if there's no intervention, matters talking. talk to your daughter, talk to her about sexuality, about pregnancy and all these things. That is the intervention. But patterns have a way of repeating themselves. In the Bible, look at this friend of God. Abraham lied that Sarah was his sister. Isaac, 40 years later, lied that Rebecca was the sister. Many years later, Jacob came and was a super trickster, the great liar of them all. Patterns. What I would say is that familiar patterns repeat themselves. I don't know whether that answers. So it may not necessarily be because now I got pregnant at 24, my daughter will get pregnant at 24. Not necessarily, however, some of these things, they repeat. So it's up to the parent to have an intervention by talking and by dealing with whatever thing that happened. Yeah. Is there another one, Victoria?
So there are a few people enjoying the session, myself included. So I suppose we are repeating everyone. So Mary says, where is that? I almost lost it. Mary says, this is so educative. I am loving it.
Thank you.
Victoria says, connecting is very important. And to inspire them to have something to live for. I've done biographies with students to motivate them to rise and make a difference.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Elsa says, I love the session, but please give me a summary of anger management, a request.
Okay.
Then there are two more. Makando Christine is asking, what are the best ways of dealing with family patterns? These patterns that we are saying, they repeat themselves. So what are the best ways of dealing with family patterns? And Philip is saying, my sister got pregnant in Form 4 and her daughter that was gotten gave birth in Form 4 just before completing. I suffered out of that. So I guess Philip is also reflecting on the same. But the question here is, what are the best ways of dealing with family patterns? And the other question on anger management.
All right, so let's go to anger management. Remember, we said anger is a secondary emotion. Where is this anger coming from? What is happening? Remember when he said when somebody is feeling ashamed, and remember we also live in a very shame-based society, and sometimes teachers, we cause our students a lot of shame. Sasa how could you do such work? Hii ni kazi inakaje sasa, you see, that is shame. How about what happened? How come your work today looks like, it doesn't look like how you normally do, if it was any better, and even if it wasn't, another way that doesn't shame the child or the student. So when somebody is feeling ashamed, they'll be angry. When somebody is feeling guilty, they'll be angry. When somebody is feeling anxious, they'll be angry. When somebody is feeling angry, they'll be angry. When they're frustrated, they are angry. So how about finding the root? Number one, where is this anger coming from? Where is it stemming from? And teachers, like I said, you are very important in these students' lives. If you find a way of connecting with your student and find a time where you can just catch them by themselves and just ask, what is going on? I've not known you to be this angry. What is happening? Then they will tell you. Then as they tell you, then you see you are able to arrest the root cause of that anger. However, let them play. Physical exercise is very good. This can be through play. This can be through just deciding, let's go and run around the field, the teacher included. I used to have flat shoes in class so that when you're just feeling like you're just up here with stuff, we just, especially at around 9:30, when the nice sun is coming out, the vitamin D sun, we would take a walk around the field, or we go and do our class outside. CBC. We do and measure things outside there. We go and just do what round where we can get that sun, get out of class. So by the time we are coming back, that episode has passed. So physical exercise really helps where there's anger, because then they're able to spend off that cortisol, that is the stress hormone, and adrenaline that just pumps into want to deal with this thing that is making me angry. For boys, let them play, carry things, run, things that will what is it, deal with the testosterone that is there, so that it fends off that anger. Then they're able to calm down. So we've talked about find the root cause, then exercising, and just sometimes talking, teaching them if they get angry and they push other children, teaching them to keep their hands in jail. You say, jail your hands. I have one child who has, one of my clients who has ADHD. And so when he gets angry, sometimes he will tear books and do what things. So every time when he's angry, I say, hands. So he remembers to jail his hands. So he's there feeling all these things, but his hands have to stay this way, otherwise they'll hit. We have deep breathing where we used to do PE, breathe in, that right, then breathe out, that one, where you have deep breath through your nose, breathe in deeply and then exhale, like 3 or 4. That also helps. Counting backwards, 20 backwards, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, just to bring the person to a regulated place. That will also help. 5 things that I can see, look around. 4 things that I can hear. 3 things that I can smell. 1 thing that I can touch. 1 thing that I can taste. That is called the 5, 4, 3, 2. Just helping them calm down. That will help with anger management. But if it really gets out of hand, you can have them see a therapist, a child therapist that will be able to help them. But normally with that, you'll find the child coming to a calm, sometimes even writing. Ask them to journal, write what it is that you're feeling and what is going on through your mind. That will help them calm down. With familiar patterns, again, like I said, family patterns repeat themselves, especially where there is no intervention. Intervention means, like the teacher who has talked about their sister who got a child at Form 4, and then the same child got another child at Form 4. The intervention there should have been to talk, and as a parent, there's no way some of these things, even if you don't tell your children, they will repeat them, because life is very spiritual. Talking to this child looks like this: just coming out in the open, and having dealt with the shame because of what society looks at that as. Talk to the child, and then instead of fungiaing them and being such an authoritarian parent where you're so strict, unamfungia ati asipate mimba, talk to them about it. Tell them, this is what happened to me. I don't want to happen to you because of this, because of this, because of this. And oftentimes, you will find sometimes that when that pattern is interrupted, then you find that the child will be able to finish school without some of those things. And that's the same way you deal with all the other patterns. But some of the other patterns need to go for therapy, because some of the wounds are really, really deep. Families are really wounding their members. And so some of it you may be able to deal, but some of it you may need the help and the support of a therapist. Did I answer them all?
Thank you, Victoria. There are quite a number of other questions coming up in chat, but I think I'll let you continue.
Finish.
And
Yeah,
then
let's finish. We'll try to answer them.
Yes. So participants, please keep the questions coming. We will try our best to ensure Vicky responds to them towards the end of the session. So Vicky, I think we can proceed.
Okay, we can go to the next slide. Thank you. Some more impacts on the collective stress, of course, mental health issues. Now, where some of those things we're talking about, a lot of anxiety issues, depression, the anger, that are coming out with the students, the bullying, the addictions, or the bad coping mechanisms, like getting into drugs and substance abuse. And when somebody gets into addiction, the addiction for this person is a way to solve the problem. So if I've seen my mother beat my father every day, this is what I've grown to. Now I'm in high school and I really want to slap my mother because my mother is beating my father, because fathers are also getting beaten. It's just like and battered. It's just like it's not reported, and many will not go to the police station because of the stigma. So if this student will try to quiet whatever sounds that are going on in their head through substances, through alcohol, through sex. And now, I mean, that is the other thing that is happening to even 9-year-olds. And I'm thinking, oh my Jehovah Lord, you know, and through porn and through substances. So when you realize that one of your students is engaging in sex, some are even selling their bodies to get food, you know, you can only talk, find ways whether you can to help them, but realize that the addiction is a way for them to solve the problem and to numb the pain that is in their head and to numb all these voices. All a child needs is safety, stability, and connection. But now see that collective stress that we have that they're facing. The family disintegration, I think we talked about. Then the physical diseases. You find a lot of people are nowadays very sick. Some of these diseases is just due to stress, and that the collective stress, the layers upon layers. And then, of course, the loss of honor and respect to authority. There was like a clip on TikTok that showed some very too small children, they're about 4 or 5 years, going to school. And they were just there, and you couldn't even hear what they were saying nicely. Until now, somebody had put a caption, and when I read it, was Ruto must go, Kasongo must go. And I'm thinking, now what do you know about these things? But when we lack respect for the president, it will trickle down teachers to us, that the students will lack respect for us. And then teaching will be a nightmare because the loss of respect is gone. So you can still have the honor and respect in your classes without forcing it, by connecting with your students. Next slide, please. So what do we do? When all this is said and done, we are in these classes. These are our students. These are the people we are teaching. We too are going through some of the same things that you're talking about. Number one, take care of your mental health as a teacher. Your management may not be able to at the moment, but however, things are really changing, because I know, like in the school that I was in, there were therapists and counselors that were coming to work with the children, students, to work with the teachers that were not necessarily part of the guidance and counseling group. And so people got helped, even the teachers themselves got helped. Because one of the things I was telling my boss then was, like, I worked in a private school. I said, I'm not very comfortable going to talk to Victoria Mwema, who is my colleague in the school, but now because she's a psychologist, now me teacher, I go and talk to her because she's the one in the guidance and counseling, because you want your safety and confidentiality guarded. So a lot is changing. And so with time, hopefully, slowly by slowly, the guidance and counseling is happening in the schools and not the ones that teach there already. And we say that you cannot change what you can't feel. It's very hard for you to help your students if you can't feel their pain and if you can't feel your own pain, because then you will just minimize it. You'll get over it. At your mom left you, you'll get over it. But then they will not. They will not get over it because it's hurting them. So you also have to face your own pain. Some of the things that you're dealing with that are pain for you as a teacher, it's important to face it. There are free counselors nowadays. I know CITAM churches have that. And so when you feel really like it's a lot and you're not able to deal, I mean, you need to talk to somebody. I know CITAM churches have free counseling, and especially now it's during the holiday, you can feel like you might want to seek them out and just talk to somebody. Counseling is just talking. You just talk, and then your help. Just get somebody who you can trust to listen to you. And then beware, or you're a fast responder, because when these students come from their homes, you're the one they come to tell their problems. So in that regard, you're a fast responder. And as a fast responder, what happens is that you get what we call compassionate fatigue. Compassionate fatigue is, let me see if I can explain it, is when your emotions, your mental, your physical is so affected to a point that you get so tired, you're so fatigued that you even lose interest and motivation in the things that you have been doing so well. Compassionate fatigue is a type of burnout. And so what is burnout? Burnout is what I've explained. General physical, mental exhaustion. But now, compassionate fatigue is that, and then people's problems being heaped on you. So it's like you have double burnout, if that makes any sense. So teachers get what is called compassionate fatigue, and the nurses, doctors, pastors, military people, police, that's what they get, compassionate fatigue. You also carry vicarious trauma or secondary trauma, because his Victoria is here crying, telling you, teacher, I don't even know where we are going to sleep today. Yesterday, a neighbor is the one who gave us a place to sleep. We were kicked out, and I wasn't even able to pick my uniform. Today, I don't even know where we are going to sleep. We carry our students in our heads. And you will be sleeping at night, and then you're remembering, Sujui Mark had told me what? Sujui Helen had told me, oh my God. And and so because we carry that is what is compassionate fatigue, and the vicarious trauma, and the secondary trauma, and the burnout that we get from our job. And this is how sometimes teaching really, really, really hurts. Because remember, when all these things are happening, teacher, you still have your manenos that you also carry. You still have your own stresses that you're carrying. And so that is where I was saying, talk to somebody about what is going on, so that you can offload and then be ready to take on what is coming. But be intentional and compassionate to yourself. That means that sometimes when you feel like, this is a bit too much, learn how to, we will be saying the serenity prayer as we finish. I had to learn how to tell myself, I love my students, and I wish I could give them this heaven where they could live. However, I can only be that one reliable adult for them in class. Try to influence their parents here and there to see whether they can create a better home for them. But beyond that, there's nothing much I can do. Because there's one time I remember I had a headache every day for a whole month. And that's when I realized I was going to die. And I was like, teaching will not kill me. I had to be intentional on doing the things that I was telling you about and that you're going to be talking about to take care of myself. I had to give myself compassion. I had to allow work to stay at work and become a wife and a mother. Because many times I would go home and still become teacher. And then I'm there harassing everybody in the house because I'm used to orders and everybody following my orders. And I was called out. Take care of your relationships in and out of work. Your relationships will, the quality of your relationships will determine the kind of life you're going to have. If my relationship with my husband at home is not good, there's a very high possibility that will carry to the students who know nothing about this bad relationship that is happening in my house. And that's why I'm saying I had to separate the two. The home had to rhythm on its own, and the school had to rhythm on its own, so that I don't mix the two, because mixing the two becomes very volatile, a very volatile area. And so take care of your relationships. Like there's a teacher who, the husband is the one who was my client, and this husband really wanted, they were going through some rough patch, some challenging part in their marriage. And so this guy decided to surprise the wife. The guy lives in Nairobi. The wife works in, let's say, Mombasa. And so the man wanted to surprise the wife. And for me, I thought that was really nice. Since they were having issues, they had come for therapy. Oh, now since the term has opened, it's been 2 weeks. Let me go and surprise her, so that we can spice up our marriage. So he took off, Nini akaenda where? He went, and now he was calling me on his way back. And he's like, hey, I thought I was, but I've gone and found another man's boxers in my wife's bathroom. And so I was like, okay, but did you ask who he was? Because maybe there might be a good explanation why the boxers are in the bathroom before you just decide that is what is, that she's cheating. Can we find out that that is actually what is happening. And he was like, yes, I asked, and yeah, he's been in her life for a while. So you see now, that is not taking care of the relationships. That's messing it up. So that marriage ended. And so the lady never came for therapy again. But I can only imagine that she's really hurting wherever she is. It just happened recently that she's really hurting because now this is a separation that is happening to her. But these are the points we are saying, that take care of the relationships that you have. And some of them sometimes will need help from another support. Next slide, please. Be the safe adult for the children you interact with. Do not shame them. You might be the only smile they see every day. A very quick story of this head teacher who gave her story, and she was saying now she owns her own school, but she was saying back then, when she was especially in the lower classes, she loved how her teacher smelled. And she told herself one day she will become a teacher because the teacher was always so clean. She smelled so nice. She wore such nice clothes. Okay, according to the girl, she wore very nice clothes. She was so kind to her. And anytime this girl would come to school, the headmistress, she would come to school smelling urine because they lived in Mathare. And they would sleep on the floor with the other children. There was G6, and some of them would susu on the others. So by the time you're waking up, you wake up and go to school. You're showering where? So, but this teacher never ashamed her, never quarreled her. She would just come, just be nice to her, hug her. And where the other children would be walking, doing this with their noses in the air because this one is smelling urine, she would take her, go and clean her. And she had even bought clean panties for this girl. Long story short, this woman who owns her own school, because of kindness that a teacher shown. Teachers, your influence, you cannot imagine. It goes far beyond this world. Think about the teacher, the children, the students that have passed through your hands. It's global. You have the power to impact globally because these students you're seeing here today, it is just today. Tomorrow, they'll be calling you from Sujui, wherever, doing great and mighty things. So be the safe adult. Be the safe adult. You'll be going through your own things, but choose to work on your own struggles so that you can be there for your students. Eat a balanced diet. Don't eat junk. Junk has a way of increasing stress in your body, but when stress comes, it is able to sit well on a balanced diet. Hydrate well. I used to walk around with a 3-liter chupa of water, and even now to this day I still do. Because of the job that we do, we talk a lot, so you'll find that you're very thirsty. But if you don't drink water, if you don't hydrate your body well, you'll find that the stress levels will rise. You'll start having muscle aches. You'll get irritated because you're not well hydrated. Water really helps in that. Exercise, teachers. Walking around the classroom is not enough exercise. That is just a little, but purposefully decide to exercise. If you can't get into a gym, YouTube is there on your phone. Get a workout routine, even if it's start with 10 minutes even every day. Just exercise, just to get your body moving, because that's what we want. Get your body moving, and then you find that exercise brings out good feel good hormones. You feel good. Hizo stress zinakutoka. That parent who came and talked to you rudely, you find you're no longer thinking about them. Sing, even if you don't know how to sing along. I love music. And so one of the things that any of my classes would always do, we would sing. You use your smartphone. And then I bought those Bluetooth speakers that are 1,000 shillings. So connect phone, Bluetooth, we sing, we dance. And by the time the lesson is beginning, we are ready to learn. Even the problems that the children and the students had come with, you find then that now they are ready to learn because somehow they've been able to just forget them, even for a little bit. And then play games. They don't have to be at ease. You play games, even if you're teaching maths, start it with a game. Do something in the class. Learning doesn't have to be boring. Debrief, talk about what is going on. Never hide from that. Talk about what is going on. The last one is 40 minutes, 5 minutes. Use them to just discuss and find out, where are your students? Where are they? So that you get to know what kind of a class you're going to have. In my class, I would always make contact with my students every morning. We're either shaking hands or I'm hugging them. I'm a female, so but the older ones would shake. The younger ones I would hug. But the older students would shake. And you see, touch is also very important. If somebody came there very dysregulated and I'm shaking their hand and I'm calm, then you see, and then again, emotions are contagious. I'm able to give them my calmness, Talk about what is going on and affirm them and let them know even you're here with them, but we are praying. Like I said, God was never very far from my class. He was always in it. And in this moment of like that June 2024, for me, I was like, let's pray. You guys know how to read the Bible. You're smart enough to know how to Google verses to pray for your country. Get those verses and read aloud those verses and let's see God come for us. Talk about it. Watch humorous shows, sometimes just to laugh and get off your mind the bad things that are happening. Journaling is writing. Thank you, Makando. Journaling is writing. Write what you're feeling, write what you're thinking, and write what behavior comes from what you're thinking and what you are, feeling. Draw, let them draw. Sometimes maybe there's a free lesson somewhere. Tell them to draw or write. Then that gets off what is in their heads. And sometimes I would collect what they have drawn and just be curious to want to see what are they drawing. And I saw somebody had talked about art therapy. All these things are online. Get to see what have they drawn. And then be curious, what colors are they using? Red, black, always very bad colors. If that is used, the child is communicating something that is not going on with them. Ask them. Find them somewhere by themselves. Don't ask them in front of the class. Just catch them by themselves and ask them, hey, what is going on? And then learn to catch the students doing something good. Even that one. Remember that one? Catch them doing something good, even if they have tied their laces today. Yeah, Peter, today I see you've tied your laces. You're looking very nice. Even if it's just that. Just to help them know that they are good in something. Connect with nature. If your school has nature, connect with it. And sit in the grass, play with the grass, touch the tree, just that, just being outside, just connecting with nature really helps. Anchor yourself on your faith. Like I told you, I'm a faith person and my faith really helped and continues to help me today, wherever it is that I'm going. Have adequate sleep. Manage your money well, teachers. Hello. Manage your money well. I wish we were having a physical session for this one, especially. Manage your money well. There's the power of money, the power of many. The power of many. In the years that I taught, would come together, put 2,000 merry-go-round things. Sometimes we were buying utensils. Sometimes you were buying beddings. Sometimes you were just collecting money so that you can get a lump sum because you want to do something. And you be careful of loans. Don't take too many loans that you're not able to pay, because that's the other thing that is a major weak point for many teachers. They take too many loans, then they start the cycle of borrowing. So be careful of debt. But now when we wanted lump sum money, we would just decide 5 people that you trust. Let's contribute 5,000 per month and give to somebody. So in a month, you're getting 25K. 25K, I'm able to buy the thing that I wanted to buy that I didn't have enough money for. Saving. But the power of many really helped. Teachers have done big things, guys. Teachers that you can trust. People that you can trust, that you can work together. See our Quora. People that you can trust, they buy plots, they subdivide them, sell until everybody got their own. The other day I was talking to a headmaster that I knew some time back, and that's what they were doing. They just got together as heads, and now everybody has their own home because they were able, that the power of many. And never forget God, because little is much when God is in it. It may look little, but it is much. Seek therapeutic help when you feel like now, remember you're carrying your students' manenos plus your own. That's a lot. That is a lot. So it's okay to seek help. And there's no weakness in saying, hey, I need help. Please help me. And then never lose hope. Ever. no matter what, because that there's a student who's just looking at you and taking in all that you're saying. And one day they'll come to share what you've done for them. They will come back and say, it is because you held my hand. It's because that day you told me not to give up. That is why I am here alive. So never lose hope, ever. Regardless of what is happening, never lose hope. Even for the future, we are hopeful that it shall be well. And again, never forget your faith. Next slide, please. And so here is the prayer that guided me for many years, at least since I knew it. That God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. I cannot change who is the president today. I cannot change the overtaxation that is going on. I cannot change the hike of the prices of the things that are happening. So what have I done? I have accepted, because I cannot do anything about that. Acceptance then allows me the power of choice, then the power of finding a solution. You know, this is what he's doing. So instead of buying bread every day, I can bake, you know. I can bake mandazi, and we bake mandazi. I can make mandazi, I can bake croissants, I can bake a bread that I don't have to buy, because I have accepted. But if I'm there resisting, and I have no power, then the courage to change the things that I know I can. In my school, in my class, what can I change? I can change their perception by seeing the world through hopeful eyes. I can change this Peter who makes me want to pull out my hair. I can change by loving him and showing him that, you know what, me, I'm here and I love you. And tutapambana tu mpaka mwaka uishe, but I'm here. I will be that adult for this child. And the things and the wisdom to know the difference. So the serenity to accept, the courage to change, and to know the difference of what can I change, what can't I change, so that I am not there pushing myself to the wall, yet I can't do anything about it. But the things that I can change, even bringing systems into the school, the administration doesn't have to bring things to you, teachers. You are so smart. I have never met creative people like teachers. You're very smart. Some of these things, write a proposal. You don't know how to write a proposal. AI, hello, AI is there. Even these things that we're asking about, AI is there. Ask them, write the proposal, go and tell them, so that you bring the freshness of the school. That if you're in a high school, and maybe I think I saw a comment about the students protesting and demonstrating, do an anonymous inaitwa nini, monkey survey, you know, an anonymous survey about the things that they are yammering about. All these people need is just to be heard. And it is not wrong to give them a hearing. Just guide that hearing, how it's going to be done. Next slide, please. And remember that you're a wounded healer. You are healing many hearts. You're healing many homes. You're healing generations to come, people. You're healing them. Are you a whole one? No, you're not, because you're wounded yourself. But you're extending that grace. You know, you're healing the generations to come. You're wounded, yes, you're not perfect. And as a teacher, I had to accept that, you know what, sometimes I will be there telling people, yes, I have hope, and my heart is crushed. But because I knew they needed to hear it, as I said it, somehow even my brain would now start believing what I'm saying. But if I waited to heal first, then I can go and heal, then that would not have happened. We are in a world that things are challenging, things are difficult. So as a wounded healer, don't judge yourself to a point that you can't give the hope that your student needs because you're hurting. You're hurting, however, you can still heal them, even though you're wounded, by accepting yourself. Yeah, next. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, so time for Q&A.
Wow,
Thank you.
wow. It has been
Thank you.
amazing. And
Yeah.
a lot of reflections on chat. This session is a paradigm shift to me.
Awesome.
I'm literally feeling the session. Thank you, Victoria. This session is awesome, powerful points, and so on and so forth. So thank you very much. Vic, you've taken us on a journey from the past, what happened to us in the past, what is happening in the present, what we are seeing in the classroom, what we are seeing in our own lives as teachers, in parents, in our relationships, and then given us hope for the future. So how to have hope for the future and to work through some of the challenges that we are having. Thank you very much. That's powerful. So the questions on chat are, we can group them into two. Some of the
Okay.
questions are on teachers, so our own well-being, but also how to support the well-being of learners. So
Okay.
we could start with, because this session was specifically for teacher well-being, we could start with those around teachers.
Okay.
And there's two questions that are very similar. So just a second. How do we cope as teachers? How do we cope when there is no balance? Mark is also asking, what is the role of school management on safeguarding teacher wellness and mental health? There is a lot of emphasis on safeguarding the students, but who really safeguards the teacher? Then could you kindly elaborate? This is from Rachel. Could you kindly elaborate on how to disconnect from being a teacher and become a parent immediately one gets home? Then,
Can I do those ones first?
yes, please.
Yeah, then we will go to the others.
Okay, sure.
Let me start with the easiest. Disconnecting, Rachel, I think, I hope, yeah, Rachel.
Yes,
Disconnecting from being a teacher and now when you get home to being a mom, it's all here. Your brain is so powerful. So what I realized is that when I would get home, I would get home very tired from all the noise with the kids, with the students and all. So when I got home, I would tell them to shut down all the appliances. I mean, shut down the TV, switch off the radio, and I just want silence. And so what I was called out, that's what my dad used to do. And I told my husband that I don't want to do the same. So he called me out on that. And I realized that anytime I got home, my kids would scatter. So I was like, hey, what is going on? So I was like, so he told me what I was doing. So I realized I needed to change. So then what I started doing is that the minute I got in the house, I would say hi to people, then go to the shower intentionally. And in my head, I am telling myself, Victoria, work has been left at work. This is home. This is your daughter. This is your son. This is your husband. They need you as a wife and as a mother. Teacher, umeacha huko shule. So I'd go to the shower, and as I'm showering, I'm there showering all the Peters in my head out, and my boss did this out, and just enjoy that moment of rejuvenating myself in readiness now for the other part of my life that was waiting for me. And so that really helped me. The support of the partner, but also my own mental shift to quickly keep reminding myself, you're a mom now, you're a mom, you're a wife, you're a mom when I'm in the house. Yeah. So that helped to disconnect the two roles that I had. And then in the morning, when I left my house, when I got to the school gate, I was called Mrs. Kidemi at work. Mrs. Kidemi, now you're at work. You're not a wife. You're not a mother here. You are a teacher. I was a leader in some section. You're a leader of this section. You're talking to all these people. So leave your wife and things at the gate. When I'm going home, so that switch really helped in my head. I didn't get the name of the teacher who asked about coping when there's no balance. I'm assuming you're asking about
That's Melody.
Melody.
I could go again. So
Yes.
the question is, kindly explain how to cope in an institution whereby there is no balance or difference of work and teacher life.
Work and teacher life.
Maybe Melody can unmute and ask that question.
Yes.
So that because Vicky is here and Melody, you're here, you could unmute and just proceed and ask that question so that Vicky can provide an answer for you.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the for this time. Now, my question was, now you are in an institution whereby you have to work all through and you cannot get that work life. Yeah, you have your own life as a teacher, but you find that you are too needed at work. That is what I was asking.
Oh, I think I get what you're meaning. I worked in a school like that one time where we worked throughout the holidays. I remember one year that we had only December 23rd, 24th, 25th for holiday.
Yes,
And then,
yes, that
yes,
is it.
yeah, we were supposed to go back. And beautiful school, one of the greatest schools in this country, but I realized it wasn't working for me at that time. Because then my children were small, I needed to be at home with them. I needed to be there to at least say goodnight, because now I realized I was never seeing my kids. And so for me at that time, one, I had to accept that that wasn't working for me. Then I started looking for another job. And I know nowadays jobs are hard to come by. So Melody, for now, depending on where you are at and the kind of place you are at right now, if you can talk to your supervisors, to talk to the bosses that you need time out, that would be great. We tried to do that, but anyway, it didn't work for us then. But now maybe it might work. I don't know whether also as teachers, whether you have the monkey surveys, where they ask you questions and you answer anonymously so that the management can get to know what you're going through. So number one, accepting that, well, this is my lot. With acceptance, then you're not there thinking, because the more you're resisting, then the more that pain and unhappiness persists. So accepting that this is where I am at. Am I able to look for another job? If I am, then start. Am I able to talk to somebody within the management who can pass on that to the bigger management so that they can also take care and take into consideration your well-being of resting? Looking for pockets to rest within the day. Even if you're working throughout, look for pockets to rest. Place times where you can get to just rest a little bit so that you're not depleted completely. Because now with that kind of working throughout, it might end up being detrimental even to your health, considering you're working with little human beings younger human beings that can be very energetic. So that's what I would say. But take care of your mental health as well. Take care of your physical health. During the holiday, if and when you can, rest. But my best bet would be talk to somebody. See if one of the bosses would hear and listen that you guys need help. So that even if you're working, even if you can just get a week off, that would really help. Yeah.
Okay.
Then Mark, you're welcome. Mark asked, what's the role of management in safeguarding the teacher's well-being? Mark, there are some schools that are really good, especially teachers that are run by schools that are run by bosses who are teachers before, because they understand what the teacher goes through. However, for some, it became a business. And so some of them really don't know what the teacher goes through. And that is where now your proposals come in, where you're like, you know what, this is what I'm proposing. You just write a proposal. If you don't, like I said, check AI for help on writing a proposal on what it means to safeguard the teacher's well-being. Because when you take care of your clients, when you take care of your employees, they take care of your clients. So if the management takes care of you, then you're able to take care of the students and the well-being of the school. That's number one. Secondly, we normally say that your workplace is a staircase to a better place. That is another principle that got me through the years, because like I said, many schools really don't know, and they can never pay a teacher for what they do. And so, but I told myself, I am building a staircase for myself for a better place. And so during my working years, I did the best that I knew how to every day for that child, anybody who was in my hands, and for the staff that I was leading. And so sometimes you have to go out of your way to take care of yourself because the management may not. But if you want them involved, again, see who can you talk to. in the board of directors who has a listening ear, which pillar listens to the teachers, and then send a proposal about how you're thinking they can help you. And some of the leaders will listen. And at least be in their good graces. You're the one who comes to that one, who comes late all the time, and then now you want some, you're asking them to do this for you. Let them see your track record of good work so that even as you're asking, they can listen. But write a proposal. Or even tell them, let's go and benchmark with Victoria School. I hear they do this and this and the other, so that they can come benchmark. Then you have an idea. Yeah. So benchmarking, you'll not say, let's go and see how they are treating their teachers. Let's go and see what they are doing CBC. Now that JSS has done what grade 9, we are going to grade 10. Let's go and see how they are doing. So as you go to see how they are doing, you find that these guys are given an afternoon off every week. Then you come and say, this is what we found. Can we also bring the same in our school? Something like that. I hope that helps. Like I told you, guys are really smart. Teachers, creative people. Yes. And we have seen. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Vicky. Because of time, we will not be able to take more questions, but perhaps before we close off, I think this question can summarize a lot of questions. How do we deal with teacher burnout? And then the last one is different issues that learners are facing. There's adolescents who have OCD, adolescents who do not know what to do after school. So how do we support learners with mental health issues or learners who are having different challenges? So those two, burnout for teachers, and then how do we support learners? Then after that, Nancy will come in and give us the closing bit.
Okay, so I'm wondering which one is easier. Support for the learners. One, love them, connect with them. All learners want, all these learners want, all we want is just that connection. That connection will tell them that you value them, you care for them. Okay, thank you, Nelly. That you care for them, that they're appreciated, that they are accepted even in their difference. Because what sends the learners out there in the vices and in the drug and substance abuse is just that acceptance. And so accept them, and then just go online and check how can you help learners with OCD, how can you help learners with ADHD. The other thing is that protect them from the other students in their class, because children can be evil. Students can be evil. Younger ones can be evil sometimes. They will say things that are really mean to them. So show them how to support their classmate who is going through this thing, and then talk to their parents, and then work hand in hand together to help and to support the learners that are abled differently in the classes. And remember, this is also a lot. There's a lot. And then I heard Vicky talk about the IMSINGI has some of that in their pillars and on their platform. So plug into that. That will also help you. Teachers, make your smartphone your friend. A teacher will not survive well today without being the friend of the smartphone, meaning you're checking for these things. Yeah, checking for these things. Whatever it is that you need, it's just at the touch of your button, you'll get your answers. It will be able to help you to support the learners. But number one, appreciate them. Appreciate them. Let them know they are loved. Let them know that they belong. And support them even from the ridicule of the other students, and also just work with them. Then check on AI how you can support learners with the different abilities that they may be having. Some of them may lack social skills, you have to teach them. Some of them may lack numeracy skills, they'll be lag behind. Some of them may be just perfectionists. You can't touch my desk, you can't touch my this. Just help them. Yes, and Gakoria is saying that IMSINGI has those resources. Please make use of them. And then dealing with teacher burnout. Hey, Victoria, this is, if you allow, this is something we'd want to do another time. However, we can say that now it's holiday time. Please rest. Don't go selling in that kiosk the whole holiday, and then by the time you're going back to school, you're so tired times 100. Please rest. Set boundaries. Say no. if you're being called to go and do schools, do setups, do what things, and you're saying it's going to take your whole holiday, you'll not rest. Just be like, set boundaries, learn to say no, so that you can give yourself time to serve your own needs first. Find space to do some self-reflection over how was the term, how are you, how are your relationships. Socrates said that a life that is unexamined is not worth living. Keep examining your life so that you're able to see and check which areas are you doing well, where are you not doing well, so that in the time you can start working on those areas, because those are some of the things that bring us burnout. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, teachers. Again, remember, smartphone. All the lesson plans, some of them are here. You just pay 100 shillings and they are here. You don't have to reinvent a lot of all these things. What is it? Just check them. And if your school like ours, I know it made noise. We were told we have to handwrite the schemes, and they are here printed. Then we were like, but guys, we are going digital. Why are we handwriting these things? See, we do it digital. So we got help. We just changed one or two things, then we're able to have our lesson plans. Like we talked about separating your home and work. Get that work-home rhythm, where now it's home, rest, go to Geshagi, connect with nature, dig, walk around barefoot, hug a tree, pluck, eat from the shamba, those things that we don't do in Nairobi. If you're just in Nairobi, don't stay glued on Netflix and those other movies, There are other things that you can do. Wash the house, clean the whole house, panga arrange the books, do something that is different from what you have been doing. Manage your stress well by accepting it, naming it, exercising. We talked about exercising, writing it, journal your thoughts, journal your thoughts, your emotions, and the behaviors that come with that. What else can you do? Set time for your hobbies. I think somebody had written about hobbies and things that just rejuvenate you. For me, I told you it's singing and dancing. So you'll find me singing and dancing. I go to church, I go and sing and dance. I might decide to go and do vocational Bible school, just go and run around with children, playing with them. And by the time I'm going back to school, I'm really feeling very fresh. Visit a cousin who lives in Mombasa, so that you can go and, walk on the beach, so that you are out of just being cooped up in the house the whole holiday. Take care of your relationships, because the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your relationships. Be able to say no to those ones that are not working. It's okay to tell even a brother or a sister that is not, or even just cut them off your life. If all they do is just bring you misery and make you miserable, it's okay to say, you know what, I need time from this person, so I will not visit them this holiday, maybe another time. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, something that relaxes you, a devotion. Read a book that you have not read. Even that is relaxing. Take time off gadgets. Read instead. And adopt healthy lifestyles, eat well, drink lots of water. I think that's what I can say for now. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we will share this presentation as well as the recording with the participants.
Asante.
Thank you very much, Vicky. Once again, I don't think we can thank you enough. There are quite a number of reflections on chat, people saying that you are such a good teacher, talking about the military bit. I've seen a comment around the military bit, but I'm not able. Yes, Madam Vicky, you got an awesome experience as a military instructor. Our students get traumatized from operation when they come for career progression courses. With your slides, I am learning a lot. I'm guessing, Benjamin, you're from the military. You work with the military. I'm guessing that's the case here. So this session is awesome. We've talked about the paradigm shift. So there's a lot of appreciation for this session, Vicky. Thank you very much for that journey that you've taken us on. So as we are coming to an end, I think we are 5 minutes past our time. I'm going to invite Nancy to close for us and to tell us how we can stay connected to Imsingi so that we can be present and know when a webinar like this one is happening again. So thank you, Vicky, once again. If you're still with us, you can respond to some of the questions on chat that we were not able to respond to. But at this point, I'd like to invite Nancy. Karibu sana, Nancy.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Victoria, our facilitator, and also Vicky from Imsingi. Such an enlightening session. Every time I am in these sessions, my respect for teachers gets deeper, and it's amazing to see you all learning and actively responding and seeing how you can relate to everything that is being taught and how you're learning from it. So right about now, I'm gonna share on the chat a link towards that will take you to our platform online, imsingi.org. Victoria had shared a brief of what we do and the different pillars that we have. Please head on there. Also, I'm gonna share a link to WhatsApp on the chat. What we have is a community. What we have in there on WhatsApp is a community of teachers, school counselors, people who are interested and are doing the work of guidance and counseling in the school. So schools, I'm also gonna share that on the link. And also, please, we value your feedback. So coming up right now is a link that I would want you to answer or to respond to the two questions that you would want to know how the session has been for you and what are you taking away and just your feedback in general. So please, before you leave, ensure you have clicked on the link and you have given us your feedback. If you had not, yeah, thank you, Vicky. That's our website. That's the pillar that is hosting this, but we have 4 other pillars. It's the pillar that is hosting tonight's webinar. So we have the parental engagement, we have teacher engagement. Parental engagement seeks to empower parents and has resources on how parents can better be present for their children. In this sense, the students that we have in classes is teacher engagement. They also, help to empower teachers. There is so much that goes on in the pillar, and there are courses that are offered there. It will be really nice to check what is happening over there. Then there's a student engagement and the life skill. All these exist to help you. And then there's us, the psychosocial pillar. So please head on there. If you had not registered and you're part of us tonight, we are going to share the resources from tonight. We are going to share everything else that has been taught